Hey, this is Rick Brandenburg for Turf Bugs and Rock and Roll, and we're at the end of the summer and going into fall. And one of the things as we look back on the summer of 2022, for a lot of you, it was a summer of extremes. And here in North Carolina, we had summer months where we got 8 to 10 inches of rain. We had summer months where we got 1 to 2 inches of rain, and we had a ton of days that were way, way above normal temperature. And with these wide swings and variations that we get in weather extremes, people want to know, well, what's that doing to insects, diseases, weeds, and pest problems in general? What is it doing? Is it speeding them up, slowing them down, making them more abundant? Are they more damaging, whatever? And that's something that really is a little harder for us to predict than you might think. And the reason for that is, let's say we start out the summer dry, then we got wet, then we got dry, then we got wet. Well, we may have other summers where instead of starting out, say, wet and then turning dry, it may have started out dry, then turn wet, then dry again. So it's always jumbled up. And say in my 40-year career, I may have only seen this particular situation with such extremes of wet and dry 2 or 3 other times. And it was spread out over 40 years, and a lot of things have changed, from management practices, mowing height, turf cultivars, all kinds of things. So it's really hard to say, well, when we have this situation, this is the pest response we see, because we just don't have enough data points. So typically we don't have a lot of background data, and what we do is just use our best guesstimate and say, well, when it's really wet, if it was wet early, that probably means things like white grubs and mole crickets and things like that laid a lot of eggs. They took advantage of the good soil moisture, and then it turned dry. Whereas if it was dry early, we can probably say, well, that's going to slow down development. It's going to reduce the number of eggs that actually survive. But it's really hard to be precise when we see these big fluctuations of wet to dry, hot to cool, that sort of thing, because it's different all the time, and we just don't have where we can say, look, we've got 15 years of this weather pattern, and then we can make a good prediction. Every year's different, every year's got extremes, but they don't allow us to just accumulate data because those extremes are similar from one year to the next. So it's a challenge. It encourages you to really stay on top of things. It encourages you to get out and scout and check and monitor, and that way, no matter what the weather's doing, you can really be on top of it. But one of these days we might get a lot better at it, but for right now it's just using all your years of experience and using your best guess and trying to stay on top of it for monitoring. Hope that helps. Look forward to talking with you again soon.